Thanks for coming along and joining us for the new year. I'm still not sure this is working. Oh, wait a minute. I think I've gone live.
Yep.
Hi guys, sorry we've had a little bit of a hiccup with the start, but that's nothing unusual. Happy New Year everyone. Welcome to our first live stream of 2019. I can see there's a few people in chat waiting already. Hey Cheryl's good to see you. Hey Di and Kim and Thea and Susie, yay, you can all see me because I was, doing my usual talk to myself just a few minutes ago, but
it's all good.
Now I can be seen.
You're coming in very clear.
Hey Frissies, good to see you. Hey Leanne, Michelle. Hey Julie. Hey Twisted, how are you going? So how are we all? Did we have a lovely break? Did Santa come and visit you all? Hey Margaret, it's good to see you, and Kerry and Debbie. We had a lovely quick break. I would have liked another week or two. Got a couple of days without chainmail, so that was good. Hey Joe. Hey Jenny. Hey Elizabeth. Happy New Year to you too. Mordrith. Oh, hot. Talk about it. Although we've just had a storm break here, so thankfully we've had a break. Twisted, that's not good. I don't know what's going on, love, but I hope everything picks up. Yeah, we had 42 degrees day today, and then we've had a break with the thunder and lightning storm, which has sounded like it might have stopped by now.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of rain still going on.
So we've gone from 42 degrees down to, what's it going to be tomorrow? Something like 24 or something?
Oh, even less, yes.
You went jet skiing. Excellent. That's awesome, Anthea. Hey, Wes, good to catch up with you. And Rodney, 45 yesterday. Yeah, you guys had a horrible day yesterday, didn't you? We haven't quite got to the 45. 46.3. Yeah, Michelle, you live in a crazy part of the place in the world. Oh, wow, Twisted. That's not a good mix, love. Oh, my heart's with you, honey. I'm sorry. Well, hopefully the move and the new job works out for you. And maybe the splitting up with the hubby. I don't know. Maybe that's a good move too.
Wait.
I don't know.
It could well be. I understand.
Witch and the Wizard, you're melting. Oh, look, Rodney, we've been living literally in a dark cave because we don't open up any of the blinds because we've got a west-east facing house. We are constantly got sun blazing in. So we don't open any of the blinds. We've had the aircon running all through the day. We turn it off at night and then we just die at night. So I'm looking forward to a couple of days of 20s, something in the 20s, and then it's heading back into the 30s again. But hey Bobby, good to see you. Don't think I've seen your name here before. Yeah, 31's, well, 31's actually, it was 30 the other day, and I went to, it's actually quite cool, isn't it? We've had a terrible week. Not as bad as Michelle, though. Well, good to see you here, Bobby. All right, well, I suppose we should make a move on the weave. I had to restart my computer because it wasn't working properly, so I've got to call a couple of things up. But we'll be able to save money at the new place. Okay. Well, I hope it all works out for you. All right, guys, we'll swap this across. I'll show you what I've got, and we'll make a move. What's that face for? Just that face?
That face.
Just that face. All right, guys, here we go. All right, so the weave is, and I don't know how to pronounce this because I actually looked this up, and it's made, the origins of the words were Danish and Japanese. So foray is Danish, and it means spring. And Kaede is Japanese, which means maple leaf. So I don't know where the originator was going with that name. It's also known as X-weave or spring chain, according to male artisans. So maybe it's something along there. But anyway, I've got some pieces to show you tonight. Although this looks like JPL and it acts like JPL in some regards, it's not considered a variant of JPL, but it does look very similar. So this is in 14 gauge AWG, which is 1.6 millimeter diameter wire. And the ring ID I chose for this one is 6.75. Now this weave is quite AR sensitive. It has a recommended AR of 4.4. And I did do a lot of playing around with different ring sizes to try and incorporate color and things into it. But because of the limited AR, I found it quite difficult to do that, which is why all the pieces are in BA virtually. So this one is 6.75 millimeter ID. 16 gauge is 5 mils. Now this is verging on a little bit big with the 16 gauge. I tried 3/16, which is 4.76 millimeters, and it was too tight. Couldn't do it. So although 5 mil is, you've got to be careful when you're weaving it because it can slip out quite easily. 4.75 or 3/16 doesn't work at all. This one is 18 gauge 4, which is a nice size. I tried it in 5/32, which is 3.97. So this shows you how sensitive it is. You can see that it's not as loose in the 5/32, which is, you know, just 3.97 mils. Whereas this one, can you see how this one's hanging? It's quite loose. So this is a nice size for it. This one works, but there is a bit of rigidity to it. And then in 20 gauge, this is 3.25 millimeters. So I found most of their sizes pretty good, except, as I said, the 16 gauge 5 did have a tendency to slip out of place as I was weaving it a lot easier than the others. But if you keep an eye on it, once you've woven it, it stays. It's just very easy for it to move out of place before you lock the ring in. All right, so we're just going to get started with this. It's not difficult to do. We just start off by making a ring or a chain that's 3 rings long. Okay, so we'll just whip that up now. So I'm just doing this in the 14 gauge so you guys can see it. Oh, and didn't show you this one, did I? This is the other kit that was in with the Maille Club subscribers, which is just a keychain that I did with it. Okay, so make up a simple chain, 3 rings long. If you've got a twist tie or a paper clip or something, just pop it in one end. It gives you a little bit of a handle to hold on to. Okay. Now, we've got our pieces like this, and this is ring number 1, ring number 2, ring number 3. We want to move ring number 3 so that it sits on top of ring number 1. Okay, so we just slide it across so it sits on top, and that eye that's formed there above ring number 2, that's where we want to slip our next ring into. So grabbing an open ring, we want to slip it into that eye there, making sure it sits on top of ring number 2. Okay, just like that, and do it up. Okay, so once you've put that ring into place, that's what your weave should look like. You should have the ring you just placed sitting on top. What we want to do is we want to now turn this weave towards us. So there's 2 ways of doing this. You can always bring it back to here, or when you close your ring, you keep that ring that you just closed on top, and that's the next position that we want. So we want to change the view from the ring that we just added, from here to here. Okay, that's the view we're looking for. And then our next ring, goes into that same eye. So you see the eye there that's formed up the top here, into that eye there, making sure it sits on top of the ring that is already in the eye. Okay, so straight through there, making sure it sits on top. This is where things can go curly. Whoops. Wait a minute, let me just do that again. I'm trying to watch the camera and do this at the same time, and it's proving beyond me. Okay, so straight into there, drop the work, close it up. And then we want that ring that we just added, it needs to sit on top of that previous ring that's in the eye. We always want to make sure it's on top of it. You can see that? Is that making sense to everybody? Okay. I'll just do that again. Make sure I've got that right. I'm a bit... Okay. So this is the last ring we added here. We have that facing us. We put our new ring through the eye, making sure it stays on top of the ring that's already in that eye. Okay, so we're not interested in this one down the bottom because it goes around the eye. We're interested in this one that goes through it. And it needs to sit on top of that. So we close that up, and then we just position that ring so that it sits on top. Something's still not looking right here. I'm not happy with this. Oh, there we go. I've got it. Okay. And then we want the next one. Where's my stabby? So this is the ring that we've just placed. It sits on top, and our next ring goes into that eye there, making sure it sits on top of the ring that's already in the eye. Yeah? So straight through there like that. Close it up. Okay. And we make sure that that sits on top of the ring that was already in there. And then our next one goes through that space just there. Okay, sitting on top of the ring that's already in place. We close it up. We make sure that the most recent ring is sitting on top. And we put our next ring in through there. Close it up. Sitting on top. Next ring in through there. It belongs to the Persian family, Shirley, so it's got Persian joinings. I believe there is a way of doing it by starting it with half Persian, 3 in 1. I don't know how to do that. So again, this is the ring that we just added. We can see that it's the ring that just added because it's the one that's the leading edge is up the top. We make sure that that is facing us, okay? We don't want to look at the edge of it. We want to look at the whole ring, and we want to go through the eye that's formed by it and the ring behind it, making sure we sit on top of that ring that's already in the eye. Can you help Bobby out with the link?
I will do.
Thank you. Bobby, Chris will post a link that'll take you to our Maille Club subscription, which is how you get the kit beforehand. So yeah, Elizabeth, it is Persian. It is from the Persian family. Yeah, Rodney, you can roll it towards you. I find though, once you put that ring in, so much like if you follow the way I do JPL, you put the ring in, you let it fall naturally. Don't let go of your pliers here. And then you grab the end, and that ring is just automatically where it needs to be. If you drop it and put it down or something, I mean, we just need to find it so that it's the end ring there, and we just need to always make sure that that is facing us. So it is kind of JPL-ish in that you need to rotate the weave in order to do it, and it is AR sensitive, but it belongs to the Persian family according to the people that run Maille Artisans, who have much better weave theory than I do. Hey Jane, good to see you. So does that make sense to everybody, what I'm doing? Did I explain that well? I'm a bit out of practice. I'm feeling a bit nervous.
Actually, you got some really good clear shots, I thought.
Well, that's because I was trying to watch. Oh, sorry, because I was watching it on the screen as I was weaving it rather than looking at the weave.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
To know though whether or not your instruments are falling out of favour or not.
No, they haven't. They're just hidden away. My drawer is a mess. I'm not even sure I've unpacked the Lindströms from MailleCon, to be honest. No. I'm not even sure where they are. I'm a bad Lindström mummy.
So once you get your craft room.
Yes, I am building a craft room, so hopefully I'll have things put away better. Yours looks like a mess, Anthea. Can you see where you've gone wrong, love? Assuming you've gone wrong. Hey, Hilda. Happy New Year, love. Good to catch you. God, 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, good gracious. Yeah, well, except for the last few weeks or last few nights with this heat, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm definitely asleep. All right. Anthea, is there anything else I need to show you? Maybe? Do you want me to start it again, or do you want me to start it again, Anthea? How about I do that? It's really quite simple. I was worried it was going to be maybe a little tricky, but I think if you think about it, even though it's not JPL, if you think about it like it's JPL, it certainly helps. The thing is to make sure that this, now you can see that this ring here is slipped under. This is our last ring, and it should be sitting on top. So when you go in and put your next ring in place, you really need to make sure that this ring is sitting on top. Generally, once you lock that ring in place, it won't move out unless your ring ID is too large. But you really do need to keep that ring on top. I've certainly gotten several rings down and realised I've mucked up and had to go and pull it apart and start again. All right, Anthea, I'll do a quick, because we're only 7:20, yeah, so we've got plenty of time. Yeah, it's not a lot of steps to it.
Looks like the start's hard, but once you get going...
It's fiddly. It's just keeping it in the right position. All right, so we start with a simple chain 3 rings long. So just join all those together. I'm really sweaty. Did you turn the aircon off? You did.
Yeah, it was making noises.
Yeah, I know. All right, that's what everyone to hear, that I'm really sweaty. Oh, Margaret, but it's not JPL, so you should be fine. It's got all the beauty of JPL without being JPL. I'll just open up a couple of rings because it helps to have the first few rings opened up so you're not worrying about those. Okay, so we've got rings number 1, 2, and 3. So what we want to do first off is we want to slip number 3 sideways so that it sits on top of number 1. and we want to form that all-important eye. So you can see straight away it is quite Persian in that we're working with eyes, and we're going straight through this eye here, making sure it sits on top of the one in front of it. Okay, so very much like half Persian, the half Persian weaves. So we're just going to slip that through there, okay, through that eye, making sure we're on top of the ring that's already in there, or around there, and we're going to close that up. Now when we bring it back to the position that we were working in, you can see now that that ring is sitting on there. This is our last ring. We can tell it's our last ring because it's sitting out here, okay? It's pointing out at the end there. That's the last ring we've entered. What we need to do is we need to position the weave now, give it a little twist so that that takes on that view. So we're no longer looking at the edge of the ring, but we're sort of looking at the face of the ring, let's call it, okay? And then what we want to do is we want to pop our next ring. Again, we've got an eye formed here. Sorry, they just keep slipping out. And we want our next ring to come through this eye, making sure it sits on top of that ring that's already in the eye, okay? So taking up an open ring, popping it through the eye there, just letting it fall, closing it up. Now what I do so that I don't have to worry about that little twist that I showed you is, while I'm still maintaining this position from closing the ring, I pick up my work, and this ring is facing us already. We don't need to do a twist. We just want to make sure that it goes and sits on top of that ring there, that second ring there, okay? We don't want it to be underneath it. We don't want it to look like that. We want it to sit on top. And while it's sitting on top, our next ring is going to go through the eye. It's formed by rings 1 and this third ring back here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and the next one is going to go through rings 1 and 3 through the eye, making sure it sits on top of the ring that's already in the eye there. So the key to this is making sure that our rings are always sitting on top of the previous ones, okay? We've got to make sure this one sits on top of this one, and we've got to make sure our new ring sits on top of the previous ring that's already in there. Okay, so we take it in and we let it fall naturally. We close it up, and then without changing this position, we pick up our work and we make sure that that ring then sits there on top. Okay, you can see that it went to go underneath. We don't want that to happen. We want it to sit on top. And then the next spot we're looking for is this one in here. Okay, that eye just there, making sure it sits on top of the ring that's already in the weave, making sure this first ring is sitting on top of our second ring. Okay, and then it just goes straight through the eye there. You have to excuse me, my hands are a bit sweaty and everything's a bit slippery now. Whew, it's hot in here. And we close that up, and we just keep repeating that for the length of the chain. So is that a little bit better, Anthea? Does that make more sense? Okay. Don't be scared of JPL, Leanne. Seriously, there's no need to be scared of it. It's just a weave. Have at it. If it doesn't work, have at it again. You will get there. So that helps? Okay, all right. Beautiful. So is everybody else happy with that? So as I said, that's pretty much it. We just need to pop that through the eye there. We just need to pay attention to those rings. Look at that horrible joint. I'm taking notice of my joint. Making sure that all our rings are sitting on top. Okay, so we need to make sure that this ring is on top of that and that our new ring sits on top of the one that's in there. Okay. And that's pretty much it for the length of the chain. Now to finish it off, where did I put it? Okay. what I decided to do, because these rings can fall out of place, you can either go perhaps for a smaller ring to try and keep them locked into place. But what I decided to do was I just took the end two rings and I ran a smaller ring through that end two there. So my clasp attachment ring is coming through to just the end two. So it's not in pattern per se. I just went through and I did the same on the other end. I just found it sort of held that in place, because it can flop around a little bit, that last ring. So I just chose to lock it into place that way. So hopefully that is good. Let me go back here. Everyone was happy with that?
Looks like it.
All right. First one for the year down. I'm not feeling as nervous anymore.
Those cobwebs out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Is everybody cool with that? Excuse me. No problems. Beautiful. All right. So, yeah, that's it. What are you laughing at, Annette? Oh, thank you, Twisted. I think you're awesome too. All right. We don't bite. I don't know. Some of you do. I've met some of yous. Oh, that's good, Twisted. I do try. Sometimes it's very hard. The videos are useful, I think, to see it actually done. Sometimes it's very hard to write all of that in words. So I like doing the videos so that you can actually see what's happening. We have the same name too. So you're Deb as well, or are you saying I'm Twisted? I'm not sure here.
Both work.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Kim, I missed you all too. I'm not going to lie, I had a nice break. It was nice spending a couple of days with the fam. And, oh, cool. So you're Debbie as well. Beautiful. Thank you, Deb. Oh, you're welcome, Annette. I still don't know why you were laughing at me, though. All right, so, yeah, I think that's it. Do we want to talk about much of anything?
Well, we've got the kits in clearance.
We've got the kits in clearance, that is true. We are focusing on moving stuff across to our clearance section. So once a month we're sort of focusing on a product, and the product this month is our kits. So we've got a lot of our kits in clearance. We actually deleted a whole lot of kits as well. We were finding that they weren't selling, and I think it's just an oversaturation of choice. So we're reassessing the kits this year and doing things a little differently. They're not going to stay in stock as long as they have been. We're going to make them more limited edition runs. So big changes ahead for our kits, but as part of that process, there's a whole lot of kits made up in the clearance section. Go check them out, grab yourself a bargain. Let me see, what other changes are we doing? For the people that are in Sydney, if you're in our MailCon group, you would have noticed that I asked people in Sydney to keep a date in February free. We're in the trying to get together basically an organised meeting. So we're calling it a mini MailCon. It's not really a MailCon. We will be bringing along some of our store items, but we're just going to hold a get-together. So we're looking at sometime in February. I've still got to book a hall. We found the hall that we want to use, and I need to book the hall and get all of that organised. But hopefully we'll be able to see a few of the guys from February. And we're looking at doing that once a quarter at the moment, unless it people need to have some get-togethers a bit more often. We're also moving. We're going to do MailCon this year. I know I suggested that perhaps we wouldn't, but we are going to do MailCon again this year. We are, though, going to hold it earlier in the year than we did last year, because we found we were just too exhausted with the birthday, the MailCon, the Christmas sale, all of that sort of thing. So we're looking at around about June now for MailCon is what we're thinking. So it'll still be the same 2-day format and everything that we did last year, but in June, probably June. So that's some of the other changes we've made. Start saying, Brizzy, I'd love to catch up with you. You really should try to come down. That would be awesome. You're coming, Anthea? Excellent. Oh, Kim, I know. June the what? I don't know, Annette.
I thought it was more before June.
No. You said May and I said June, and that's as far as we got.
Oh, okay. So Deb's the boss. She wins. It's June.
Well, I've got June written down.
All right, June it is.
I've got June, but we don't have a date in June because I haven't tried to book the hall or anything. I'm still trying to organise the little mini one, let alone the big one. Time to get back to work. All right, Wes, thanks for joining us, mate.
See you, Wes.
Oh, the suburb for the Secret Saturday. It's going to be, at this stage, it looks like it's going to be in Warrington. Now, we looked at, I'll fill you in on our process. We actually looked at quite a few suburbs. We tried to stick on the main train lines because we know some of you guys travel by public transport. And we tried to pick halls or look for halls that were within walking distance of the main train lines. And then we started looking at availability and affordability. And although there were some beautiful halls further into the city, the cost of them was prohibitive. So Warrington one is quite a big hall. It's a couple of minutes walk from the train station. It's only a couple of minutes from the shops. It's also not in the middle of a main street, so there's no reason for people to try to be walking in and out. There's plenty of off-street parking. So that's where we're thinking of going. Warrington, not Warrington.
I'm looking up the maps now. It does spell it wrong.
Yeah, Warrington. But anyway, that is just for our Saturday get-together, so that's our more aimed at... I mean, if you're out of Sydney and you want to come visit us for the Saturday, it is only a 3-hour thing, sorry. And we're not running classes or anything like this. This is our mini get-together at Warrington. MailCon will still be held at Mount Riv, up at the school where we had it last year. Yeah. Oh, well, that's a shame, Kerry. But yeah, we're looking at June for that. It's too much. We feel it's just too much for us and maybe for you guys as well to do so much out here. We don't have a lot of scout halls out here, and the difficulty, Joe, was, as I said, we were trying to keep them on train lines as close to public transport as we can get. The local councils here, and at least in the Penrith area, are more than reasonable with their prices. Unfortunately, as you get further into the city, they are not reasonable at all. In fact, some of the halls we were looking at were close to $100 an hour, which is just not something we can afford. So there will be a small entry fee for the Saturday ones, just to go towards buying bickies. We'll put tea and coffee and bickies on for everybody, but there won't be meals, there won't be... It's just a get-together with a shop, basically.
It's just to get together.
It's just to get together, and we're bringing our shop to help offset the cost of the hall, basically. Queen's birthday, yeah, is it? All right. I don't know about running it on public holidays because we've run it on public holidays before and we haven't had a good response to it because people have plans in place. Yeah. So I will need to look at that, and I'll also need to look at availability. So I need to go up to the school and speak to the admin staff up there and see what they've got. Yeah. I can't promise anything for MailCon at this stage.
Until it's booked.
But we just thought we'd let you guys know that we've changed. And May, June was the time that we used to run it beforehand. It's much cooler. Much cooler. Which is always good. So I think that's probably about it. A bit busy around then. It's the 12th. Oh, well, Annette, you'll have to come up and have your birthday with us then. Absolutely. But we'll get more details to you guys as we work all of that out. Okay. All right, so I think that's it. Is that it, babe?
I think so. I think no other news so far this year.
Not so far. Got a few things planned, but not so. Well, happy birthday for
Oh,
Tuesday,
yeah, happy
Brizzy.
birthday, Brizzy.
Germs, yeah, both germs, all right.
Yeah. I think she means gems. The R was a misprint.
Oh no, I think germs is perfect. All right, Cheryl, thank you so much for coming along. It was great to catch up with you. All right, lovelies. Well, we might leave it at that then. If everyone else is fine with the weave. Yeah, I hope you have a great day, Brizzy. And next week, I don't know what the weave is next week. I need to have a look at what we've done and what we still need to do, and let you guys know what that will be. But it'll be a kit that we've or a weave that we've already got established. All right, lovely peeps. Thank you for coming along and seeing us for the first one for the year. Missed all your smiling faces, so to speak. And we'll catch up with you next week. All right, guys. Take care. Mwah! Bye.